In today's fast-paced market, the right real estate agent isn't just helpful, they're essential. Discover how connecting with the right professional can bring the dream team you need to the table. Did you know the right real estate agent could be your secret weapon? Not just finding your home, but building your winning team for financing, inspections, and beyond. How you doing? I'm here with Waylon Duff from Keller Williams.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you.
Good, Waylon. How are you doing?
Probably better than I should be, according to my wife, but hey.
That's
I'll
awesome.
Take it.
That is good. So we're talking about being a connector, connecting people, right?
Yeah.
And I look at it when you hire an agent, a lot of people think this is my salesperson, this is the person that's going to help me sell my home, but it really can be so much more than that.
That's right. Yeah. Well, a real estate agent as a connector is going to emphasize relationship building. And we were talking about that off mic earlier. This business is all about relationships. Like, who do you know and who knows you? Ultimately, who knows you? Because when it boils down to it, that's what it's going to be. And a good connector is going to deliver on value and also be a community leader. People who are community leaders are well known, and when they're well known and they're also real estate agents, likely that's who they're going to be using. And about 10 or 11 years ago, when I became an agent, my wife and I, we came to the agreement that we weren't going to put advertising dollars into Zillow because every agent seems to be doing it, right?
Yeah.
And we just didn't want to get lost in the fray. So we decided we were going to build relationships with our friends further by saying, hey, do you need a sponsor for your baseball team or something with your school? Or a few months ago, we kind of weird, I guess, but we dug a well in India.
Oh, wow.
But it wasn't just like a well for a family. Instead, it's like for this village, So we put on all the filtration, all that, and we did it to serve them. But in the end, it came back to people were like, Waylon, we want to work with you because you're working with us.
Right.
So it's all about relationships to be a connector.
It is all about relationships. The salesperson mentality about a real estate agent is this person's just going to help me sell my home. And like you said, there's so much more. You think about the direct relationships with different lenders, different insurance companies. Those are the immediate things. Mm-hmm. But I know you've had a lot more experience in not just real estate, and you know a lot of people in this town, in this area. So talk about a little bit about the other things you do and how that kind of builds your...
Well, I believe, I can't think off the top of my head, I think I'm 5th generation resident to Merritt Island.
Wow.
And it's wild. And I've got 3 kids of my own now. So it's interesting hearing all the stories of how life was and how it is now. And because I've been here so long, I know so many people, right? And when I was a teenager, I got into radio, which led into entertainment as far as being a DJ, and still a DJ today.
Yes, you are.
And my wife and I, we own multiple businesses, and they're all successful. And the ultimate path that we have is real estate. But by having all these different relationships through our profession and through our church, we go to First Baptist Merritt Island, really involved there. I'm a trainer at Trinity Fitness, Merritt Island, volunteer trainer. But in the end, it's like that relationship, people who are in my class, guess who they're using to buy and sell houses? Me. Yeah. Because again, it's about being that connector and having those relationships. And I've been an agent for 10 years now and found a lot of success in being genuine. We were talking about being genuine earlier by just being me. And it's funny how many questions I don't have answers for, but I'm always like, that's a really good question. Let me make a phone call. And instead of having the answer for everything, I'm having the right answer for everything.
The right person to call for the answer.
Yeah, right.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's you said DJ. Just give me a guess. How many weddings have you DJ'd?
Well, I have a company, and we've done over 3,000 now. As far as how many I've done, probably at least half of them, I would guess.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I was at a wedding on Friday night at Hilton Melbourne Beach Oceanfront, right? Mm-hmm. And it was a big wedding, and the ceremony was on the beach. Everyone's kind of coming out on the pier, and I'm just saying hi to everybody, and everyone's in a suit, and I'm look like I'm going to a sports game, right? With a coat on, right? And this couple came walking down, and they said, Waylon, how do you know the bride and groom? And I'm like, oh, good to see you, because I sold them their house, right?
Okay.
I'm like, I'm the DJ tonight, and they laughed and kept going. And I'm like, I don't think they know I'm really a DJ.
Yeah, well, I mean, gosh, I don't think I've been to a wedding where you weren't the DJ.
Oh, well, it's fun. I really enjoy it. And
I'm like, I know the DJ.
Yeah, right? Come on up. Anything you want, right?
Yeah, cool. So how does that strong agent relationship benefit buyers and sellers beyond the transaction itself?
Well, a strong agent relationship not only facilitates a successful transaction, but is going to emphasize the ongoing support and the education and the resources that buyers and sellers are going to need. And ultimately, in the end, it's going to make it not just the real estate's just not a one-time event. And that's how I continue to get more and more business. Today, after we leave here, I'm going to take photos of a house that I sold roughly 2 years ago. But guess what? I go to their kids' games, and we stay in touch, and we send each other funny texts, and they work out at Trinity Fitness too. So just always being there, and it's just not a one-time thing. And often agents are looking for the buck now, so to speak, like
right.
You just like whatever it takes to get that sale because I need to pay a bill. But that's just, thankfully, that hasn't been my situation. And instead, it's just been that ongoing relationship. Like, what's next? How can we help you?
Yeah, I think about that as kind of a hub. You're kind of a hub. If someone needs something, they call you. So, what types of professionals should a great agent be able to connect their clients to?
That's a good question. Now, the number one thing, if it's a buyer, because it's different between buyers and sellers, of course, whenever a buyer talks to me, and I really listen for the word, hey, Waylon, we're thinking about buying real estate. I immediately say, hey, are you talking to a trusted lender? And if they say, no, but I'm not ready yet, we're just thinking about it. And I always come back, and I'm very right on this. I say, well, 6 months from now, when you think you're really ready, you're not going to be ready. So why not get ready now? Because a lender is going to look at you. And let's be honest, most of us have credit cards and cars that we can barely afford and so on, so on, so on. So a good lender is going to get you squared away on where you need to be. So when you are ready to buy, you're good. You're gold. You find the house.
Ready, right?
Yeah. And take it a step further, Mary Cables, who's one of your loan officers, I work with her every single opportunity I get, and I'm always fanatically talking about Morgan Financial and the benefits to having you guys on board with them, because I've used you myself, and I've worked with you guys dozens of times, and it's been nothing but absolute positive experience.
Well, I appreciate the kind words. And thank you for sending us your trusted clients here.
Yeah.
But that's a good point. It's you have the financing, and then the getting ready ahead of time. People always think, oh, I'm good, but you never know what pops up on your credit that could have been fixed had we done this before.
You're right.
Or hey, if you just pay this off, you'll be able to qualify for the house you want. Yeah. And this is something that takes a little bit of planning sometimes.
It does. And when opportunity comes, and opportunity doesn't always come.
Nope.
My wife and I, we lived in a house that we didn't know much on South Rhode Island. Beautiful, completely updated, and we inherited my dad's house right around the corner. It's sitting empty still. And then this other house popped up. My wife says, I have to have that house.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, we argued for 3 days over it, literally. This was a couple months ago. And because I was happy where I was.
Yeah.
And I finally said, I pointed at her. Hopefully this is okay for a podcast, but I pointed at her. I said, fine. I'll write an offer on the house, but you have to get us approved through Mary with Morgan Financial, because I knew Mary wouldn't do it. Mary looked at my stuff and she says, Waylon, I'm going to approve you. You can do this. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Like, I thought he would say no.
Yeah, but I'm glad we did it. We signed it, and it's a beautiful home, and it was an opportunity. And buyers who are wanting to buy a house 6 months to a year from now, well, timing doesn't always work. If you want a particular house, there's only so many houses that are built, unless you want a new build that looks like 3,000 other houses in Vieira.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Anytime a client told me, hey, I'm looking, but I'm not going to buy for 6 months to a year, I'm like, we're going to get a contract in a week.
Yeah.
We're going to get it. Because it's like, look, here's the deal: is if you're looking for a very specific house, right, and you have very specific needs, if that house comes up, and the price is right, you're not going to be the only one looking at that house. Do you want to be ready and buy the house of your dreams, or you want to miss out on it?
Yeah, or you want to miss out. Yeah.
And I've seen people miss out on the house of their dreams because they weren't ready and someone else was. So it's like, get ready now. It doesn't take much time or effort or cost.
You're right.
Just talk to Mary or your trusted local loan officer that you know and like, and get your stuff to them so they can get you approved. But the worst case is you wasted 15 to 30 minutes or maybe an hour of your time. Best case is you find the house of your dreams. You can move on it quickly and make a pretty aggressive offer because you're ready.
And we were talking about age earlier. Thankfully, you thought I was 39. I'll go with that. I'll be 45 this year. But time is a thief.
It is.
So what I've really been, my wife and I both, we've been trying to live life and just be free and just let's just do it, and
you only live once.
Yeah, and the world seems to be coming together for us, and we've been able to provide for our children, and I think it's a lot like we were talking off mic. You should really have the camera on before we turn it on, about just doing life right and jumping on opportunity and being positive.
You're right. Positivity goes a long way. Mm-hmm. That's actually scientifically proven.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So how can your clients or clients in general spot an agent who's truly connected and actually a resource?
Yeah, good question. Well, you can ask for local knowledge. You can check their network. You can look for reviews. A big one is assess their communication skills. How are they talking to you? Are they getting back with you on a regular basis and timely? Review their marketing and online presence and ask about their past successes. But ultimately, the biggest indicator is to trust your instincts. And if you observe these indicators, you're going to be able to find a good agent pretty quick. I read an article about I guess probably about 6 weeks ago. It was written by the Space Coast Real producers here in Brevard County.
Okay.
And I was blown away by it. The numbers may not be exact, but pretty damn close, right? So it said something like there was like 6,500 agents in Brevard County. That's insane.
That's
in 2024, 6,500 agents. And the article said that 70% of them sold nothing in 2024.
Wow, 70%.
Yeah, so you don't want to get stuck with one of the biggest financial decisions of your life with someone who's new, or someone who's had their license for 30 years but has sold 4 houses, and that was 20 years ago. My garbage man, I was out getting my garbage, right? And I always wave at him. He, like, really nice guy, real friendly. He waves back, Anyways, I waved at him the other day, and all of a sudden he hit the brakes on his truck, and I looked over, and he climbed out of his truck. I'm like, hey, how you doing? And he went and shook my hand and asked for my name and vice versa, and he gave me his card, and I looked at it, and he's a realtor. He's like, I just got my real estate license. If you ever need to buy or sell this house, exactly, really good for him. He said, if you ever need to buy or sell, like, I'm your guy. And I didn't want to tell him I was a realtor. I just said, that is so amazing. And I think he's going to be successful. So
he's not afraid to jump out of the truck and shake your hand.
Exactly.
He's motivated.
Yeah, he's motivated. His writing's on the wall. But you still don't want to get stuck with the new guy,
Right.
So definitely go online, look at their reviews, talk with them, look at their marketing material, and you trust your instincts. You'll know when the right agent's in front of you.
Yeah, there are a lot of agents out there. There's some great a lot of great agents we have. There's a lot of good agents, but like you said, sometimes people are like, "Hey, Waylon, I maybe this doesn't happen to you, but everyone else, they're like, hey, I know I've used you before, and you've done a great job. You helped me get that great house that I love and a great deal, and you navigated all these tough spots. You referred your team to me, which they did an amazing job on the mortgage, the insurance, the title, everything. Yeah, we're going to go with our daughter-in-law because she just got her license and we want to help her out. We're like,
yeah.
It's like, what do you say to that individual?
Oh, man. Well, I always say it in grace because really at that point, they've already made their decision. It's disheartening for me because I feel like I have that investment in them.
Right. But
I can't actually think of a moment where I've really, said, are you kidding me? God bless, But I can say that out of every listing appointment that I've gone on, I've got them all but one. And one, I knew I wasn't getting it within the first 30 seconds of talking to her.
Wow.
So,
how'd you know?
She was very aggressive to me when I walked in. And she had several other realtor packages on the table. So she knew what she was doing. Yeah. And I want the business, but I don't want to be walked on. It's a relationship both ways. So I made my listing presentation short, and she said she'd get back with me. And of course, she never did. But in almost 10 and a half, 11 years of selling real estate, of getting every single listing appointment, I'll take it.
That's incredible. But I'm pretty sure you work by a lot of referrals.
Yes.
So you've already been sold in.
Yes.
People have said, this guy does a great job. You got to use him. And it's probably within your network, which you have a big network.
I do.
I mean, that's really the power that you bring. It's not just you. That's the whole point here. It's not just you that you bring to the table. It's your whole network.
That's right.
Whether they're buyers, they're sellers. If you have a buyer, you might have a seller.
Yeah,
right?
that's
if
right.
you have a seller, you might know a buyer for it in your network.
That's
you
right.
might have if they need a painter, if they need a handyman, you probably have all these people.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And that's the value that you bring to the table. And not a lot of agents have that.
Right.
And so if there's a couple moving here or a family moving here from New York, California, Texas, wherever, and they don't know anyone, and they use a realtor, just one they found in the proverbial yellow book, the modern day internet, right?
Right.
They might not have that same value you bring to the table.
Yeah, that's right. I've been self-employed since 2004. Right. We own 3 homes. We've got 3 kids. We've fostered several, and we're into private adoption. Craziness right now.
Wow. Okay.
And the reason I say that is because we've been employed for so long, self-employed for so long, we have always been 100% referral based. How does that work? I mean, like, you've got to be connected and know people, and people got to know that you are delivering on value. And anyways, we're glad we are referral based, and we understand not everybody can be. And we also understand, my broker's always on my case, like, Waylon, let's take it a step further, and he's probably right. But right now we're just enjoying where we're at.
Well, you have a great business, a great team. When I say your team, it's not just you and your wife or whoever else. It's your whole network, right?
That's right.
And so when I thought about this topic, I was like, it was an easy choice because, you're a well-connected guy. So is there any final parting thoughts, or how about why is it more important than ever to have this network, in this kind of market?
Well, the market is complex. It's always changing. Every day it's up, it's down. Rates are one way or the other. Or, certain houses are selling or not selling. Or,
right. It's feast or famine. It feels like.
Yeah. It's and thankfully I'm having a great start to my year.
Awesome.
In fact, if once everything closes that's currently in my line right now, I probably will have closed more this year already than I did all last year.
That's incredible.
Yeah, really excited about that. But having an agent with local knowledge, it just cannot be overstated. Everyone wants negotiation power and a good deal, but those things don't just happen.
Right.
They're earned, and they're earned by understanding buyers' needs and the seller's needs and what they value. And when you get the two to come together, I mean, that's amazing. And in my phone in front of me, in my contacts, it's loaded with other realtors.
Yep.
And that may not be normal for some realtors, but I bet if you ask the top realtors in Brevard County, they have like the top 100 agents in their phone book.
And relationships.
It's relationships.
Right.
That's right. And being able to work together rather than aggressive, you bring the teams together, you're going to get a deal. You're going to get a strong negotiation, and it's win-win-win.
Well, there's a lot of when you talk about that, the agents, I mean, these are your peers. They're not your adversaries.
That's right.
And when people look at it that way, you can get deals done, right? And deals done is what it's good for the buyer. It's good for the seller. I mean, they're ultimately going to agree to the terms of the transaction.
That's right.
But it's the agents who help put that together. And if there's a bad relationship or no relationship, there's no trust.
That's right.
And without trust, there's no deal.
That's right.
Yeah.
I did recently 2 deals. One was almost $1 million with 2 other agents. Call them out. PJ McLaughlin.
Oh, yeah. Great guy.
And Natalie Decker. Mm-hmm. And absolutely phenomenal agents. And the experience on both sides was absolutely incredible. And it was funny, though, because buyer and seller respected each other, and of course the agents did as well. But both those transactions was kind of a lengthy negotiation. Isn't that funny? Yeah. But everyone respected each other.
Well, I mean, you want a good agent working with a good agent because it's going to be a healthy negotiation.
That's right.
A fair, healthy, all the good things that you want.
But we're we're not raised to think like a fair. We're raised to think, let's go for blood and just win, you know?
All right, fair enough, fair enough. Well, good. Yeah, this has been awesome. I really appreciate you coming on. Any final thoughts or any things you'd like to part on?
Yeah, well, life's short, and final thought, I didn't really think about that.
No worries.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah.
Like I said, you're a great connector of people. And, if you're looking for a great agent who will connect you with his network, Waylon Duff, his contact information I'll put down below. With that, if you're not a subscriber, subscribe, like, share, as the kids say. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us, Waylon.
All right, thanks, man.
Good to see you, bud.
See ya.